Hey guys, in this video we'll be covering about how you can connect the API between make.com and Adalo. But actually this is not just limited to Adalo, because make.com has a lot of third-party available, like third-party app that you can connect. You can follow along the same process that I'm going to be doing in here for Adalo. And by the way, the reason why I choose to use make.com and reason why I want to have that connection in make.com, because I wanted to have an ability for my application in Adalo to create a recurring rooster. So in here, actually, let's jump into the add rooster. What I only have is an ability to add a participants or a support worker rooster, but it's very manual. It's very time consuming for the management to individually add rooster. Like in most cases, most of the support workers schedule is recurring basis, like every fortnightly or maybe every week or every month. So we need to have that ability in our application. So that's why we're going to be using make.com for that. And also my senior colleague wanted to have an option. If you search, by the way, in the make.com template, you have an option. You can see what are already the preset template that you can use. And I also want to take advantage of this option here called generate PDF documents from Adalo records and send it to PDF via Gmail. I want to use this for our agreements and also maybe for case notes, like a management can get the case notes every time a support worker log out to the tracking application. So yeah, let's jump in now to creating a connection in make.com. And as I said, you're not just limited to Adalo. Any third-party app in make.com, you can follow this instruction. You can follow this process. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the scenarios, which is like where you can create workflow. I already have a few, like I just generated that scenario there and this one. So let's say I'm going to start from scratch. And by the way, if you just sign up to make.com, you can just, if you click that, it's going to ask you if you want to create a template from scratch, or if you want to create a scenario from scratch or create a template. You also have an ability to add a folder. So let's say this one is just for KBs. Let's just add that, this folder, and then maybe I'm gonna put that there, and this one as well. So okay, so I'm gonna use this, and actually let's go back. Let's just create a new one. I'm gonna delete that. Let's just start from scratch. So create a new scenario, and then I'm gonna call this scenario as a recurring roosters, and then we'll pick Adalo. But again, you always have a lot of application you can choose to. I'm gonna pick Adalo, and I want to have, so there's a lot of options that you can pick. You can watch our records, you can retrieve our records, like undo, like if it's already archived, you can retrieve it. Get a record, you can pull the records. Add records, you can add records, and add update records. Obviously you can update the records in the database and delete in the database. So what I'm going to do is add a record, but with an ability for us to create a recurring rooster. So I'm going to create a connection there, and it will going to ask you what will be the API key, app ID, and database collection name. So let's call this Adalo API. And then for you to get the Adalo API, you log into your Adalo account and click the settings option. Scroll down and look for the API access, and then you just need to copy that, gonna generate a new one, copy, and then put it there. And then for the API ID, it usually when it's usually located into your browser link. So regardless of like any pages, any sections you go in, like screen list, database, data, settings, you should able to see your data or your app ID. So you copy that. It starts with the app and then like a forward slash. So they're starting there until the open and closing like slash. Okay, we put the app ID, and for the connection database collection, you need to pick what database you want to update. And this automation, I want to add records to my Rooster database. So if you go into the database, we do have 3 additional database for clock log. This is for the support worker that is clocking their time, like, you know, clock in and clock out. Participants is the list of the participants, and the participant Rooster is their schedule. So I want to get this. So we need to get the database collection ID. So you click the 3 dots and you click on API collection, API documents. In the API documents, you should able to see the what do you call that? The collection ID. So you can see there's a 4 database here. There's a clock log database that we created, participant Rooster, user, and participant database. But as I said, I want to add records or add records to my participant Rooster. So you click that, and then I will use the post method, add collection, and then here's our app ID. So we copy that app ID, actually not app ID, our collection ID. Here's our collection ID. So we copy that collection ID, and then we put it in our make.com, save. And then here, so it will be, you need to map the fields in here, like shift would be something like that. So that's where we can start mapping things, but I'm not going to cover that in this video. This is purely more on connecting your database into your, connecting your Adalo API into your, not Adalo API, connecting your Adalo database via Adalo API in make.com. And if you want me to jump in and create more tutorial about this, let me know and comment below. Have a great day.